Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is Hany Ismail from Planning Engineer website. In this live session, I would like to start with something in mind. Then you are welcome to ask your questions if you have any. Okay, my topic of today is reporting. I have received many questions like, Hani, what is good report? How I can create my report to be in a good shape as a planning engineer or a planning manager? And to be honest, the reporting and planning, this is my best area. I am enjoying doing reports. That's why it is difficult for me to answer this question simply. But I thought, why we don't open this for discussion and let's see what is a good report in planning, how you create your report and be a very good report. Okay. First of all, you should ask yourself what or who are going to read this report. The report cannot fit all people. For example, if you are creating a report for your senior manager or the company head, will it be the same report you are creating for a site engineer or a construction manager or a project manager? Definitely not the same. Okay, so we agreed that it is different from one audience to another audience. Okay, what else we should consider while we are doing the report? The report should start with some summarized data. So it will give the overall picture. Then the report should have another pages or attachment or appendix for the explanation. Let me explain to you how. Okay, you are now creating a report for your progress update. I see a lot of planning engineers, they are putting too much data in one page. Like you don't know from where to start. What is this report talking about? It's a nice data, and they tired to do this data. They did lot of efforts to create this report, but it is very difficult to someone to understand easily. In my opinion, the good planning report should be understood with less than 30 seconds. If you can look to the report more than 30 seconds and you still cannot find out from where to read it, it means it need to be rearranged. It need to be reorganized. Okay. So what is, for example, progress update report? I would start with some general statement. Okay. Very simple one page dashboard. Okay. It shouldn't be very heavy. It shouldn't contain a lot of information because this is not the purpose. The purpose is to track the attendees or the readers to read your reports. Okay. So when you create the planning report, you should start with something very simple. Okay. Then eye catching and the colors matter. For example, if you put the planned values with one colors, keep the same color for all planned values, whether in this chart, in the next chart, in the other chart, in the table, blah, 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 blah. Keep the same color for the plant. So you will tell your reader, okay, whenever you need a planned value, look to this color, okay? For the earned value or the actual, same. Put one color for the actuals and keep this color. Don't change it. So you are telling your reader whenever you are looking for an actual value, look at this color. Then you will have some appendix or you have some other pages for the details. Don't put a KPIs, too many KPIs like shop drawings, materials, construction, building X, building Y, building Z, all this in the same page. No, give the overall picture. Okay, let's say the planned percentage for the whole project is this much, the actual percentage is this much. Okay, and then you might have some breakdown. Okay, showing the main areas like engineering, procurement, construction. Okay. Then, if you have a question, you will have a backup sheet or attachment. showing the details of the engineering, details of the procurement, details of the construction, like this. By this way, you are encouraging the people, encouraging the readers to read your report. Then you can discuss and have a discussion, informative discussion, because a lot of reports, it end up you put it in behind you in the wall and no one look at it, and we don't know, we don't need to do this. Okay, let's go to your comments now if you have any comments. We have here Mr. Muhammad Riyad. Alaykum assalam, sir. Hello. Dear sir, I am from India, from mechanical engineering background. I had completed the Primavera P6 course from India, but till now not getting job on planning engineering. Please suggest me, sir. I'm already working as material coordinator in Saudi Heavy Industrial Service in KSA. Okay. This is a common question, to be honest. Okay, I studied planning. I'm ready to be a planning engineer, but I didn't get the chance to have a planning job. My answer always start from the place you are. You are saying that you are material coordinator in Al Saudi Heavy Industrial Service in KSA. Start offering some planning services to your current company. Yani for material coordinator, so you have some material are coming, material are going. Have you tried to do some planning for this one, for the job in hand? Have you tried to ask your planning team or create something and show to your planning team and tell them, oh, I did this one, what you think? Can we do it better? Can we do it like this? What I need you to achieve? I need to achieve one of two scenarios. The first scenario is to have some side planning tasks with your current job, okay? And this is the best scenario, and maybe to be promoted later on as a planning engineer. The second scenario is to put in your resume that you have worked some planning tasks, especially when you are 5 or plus years of experience. Then it is difficult to move to the planning without any experience. So this is my recommendation for you. Mr. Mujahid, very common issue making planned value equal to earned value while creating revised schedule without splitting activity. What is the way? Okay, there is no direct way. There is no magic stick that we can do it planned value equal to earned value. But and in the other hand, it shouldn't be 100% matching. So don't think that we need to make it 100% matching. Let me give you one example or how I do it in steps. I start with the completed activities. Okay, so I make a list from the updated schedule with the completed activities, and I'll be sure that in my recovery schedule, these completed activity are almost the same dates they are completed in the almost. In the updated schedule. Then not started activity. Okay, the not started activity, I'll be sure that this activity will not start until my data date. So the second step. Third step is the in progress activity, which is the most difficult one. And it shouldn't be the most, I mean, the numbers of these activities shouldn't be too much because you are only focusing on the in progress activity. What I do, I start with the heavy activity, like activity which has a heavy weight, too much cost. I start with this activity and trying to adjust it and almost the same like the updated schedule. Then the lightweight activities, okay, I don't bother too much, but almost it is within the range. By doing these three steps, in my opinion, you reach up 95% or 98% planned value equal to earned value. Try it and tell me if it works. Okay. Mr. Muhammad Roman, kindly explain difference between longest path and the critical path. Please, I'm confused. This is very nice question. And okay, it is fine. It is fine to ask whatever you don't know. This is how you will enhance your knowledge. This is the purpose of this life at all. Okay, longest path, and the critical path. Let's do one statement. All the activities in the longest path are in the critical path, but not all the activities in the critical path are on the longest path. Okay, what you mean? I mean that critical path, all the activity with zero or negative float. Okay, so the critical path will filter all the activity with zero or negative float. Let's say we have 30 activity. Not necessarily all the 30 activities are driving the completion date of the project. Okay, so the longest path only filters the activities that drives the completion date of the project. In other words, it is the most delayed activities. Let's say this activity 1 has a total float of minus 15. Activity 2 has a minus float of minus 10. It means activity 2 is a critical activity, activity 1 in the longest path, if the project is delayed 15 days. This is, I hope it is simple for you. To recap again about what we said, longest path showing the activity with the minimum because it is negative, not minimum in number, but let's say the most delayed activity, the activity which showing total float equal to the delays of the project. While the critical path, even if one activity is showing minus 1 day or 0 day as a float, it will be shown in the critical path. Okay, we have here a nice question. You have a free training session but less fee on certificate. Okay, my trainings are not free, they are paid. Okay, I have some training in YouTube free, some training in my website paid. Why it is paid? Let me explain to you. Do you think that an engineer will spend 6 months full time to create one course and will not get any benefit from it? Okay, so this is how I'm creating my courses. But the good news is, whoever you are, whatever your religion is, if you are not capable of paying my courses full amount, or you are not capable of paying anything at all, just send me an email and I'll give you my courses, whatever courses you want, free of charge. But if you are capable of paying the course fees, please do it, because we would like to continue, we would like to produce something more and more. This is the idea. Okay, Abdul Mateen, Assalamu alaikum. What is the concurrent delay? Okay, first of all, concurrent with you, not with O, but I understood you. Concurrent delays are when you as a contractor are in delays and your client is causing for you delays. So there are two reasons for the delay. One is from the client side, the other one is from contractor side. Okay, in that case we call it concurrent delays, and we have here some trick. The client say, okay, this is concurrent delays, you are not deserving any time or cost. No, this is not correct. Some clients are doing this, which is not correct. The concurrent delays, it means excusable delay but non-compensable. What does it mean? Excusable, I have a reason to be delayed, but you are delayed, Mr. Contractor. Yes, I am, but you are delayed also. In that case, in concurrent delays, I am entitled for extension of time, but I am not entitled as a contractor for a prolongation cost or the cost caused by delays in the construction projects. Okay, I have a question here. How to reduce total float in a schedule? Okay, in order to reduce the total float in a schedule, we need to put some proper linking. It means that you need to link, let's say if you have 10 floors and you have very high float, try linking the floors together. If you have some missing relationships, do some good relationships, but be logic. Don't, for example, link the masonry to something not related to it, something like doors, for example. Because of doors, there are too many steps after masonry in order to install the doors. I mean, be logic and do more logical relationships without too much lag. Sometimes I see people making finish to start relationship with 100-day lag. No, 100-day lag is not something reasonable. You need to put some correct relationships in order to have a proper schedule. What a great content. Sincere greeting from Turkey. Your broadcast accompanies our Sunday. Okay, I'm broadcasting whenever I have some time, Sunday, Monday, Friday. I know I'm not organized in this one. Sorry for this. But whenever I have some time, I'm trying to communicate with you because I feel good when I see you. Thank you for your good feedback for me. You are welcome. Mr. Khalid Salah, master degree useful or not? Okay. Master degree, it is useful in the managerial level. If you're having 5, 6, let's say up to 10 years of experience, I don't think it is beneficial that much. Type when it is beneficial and when it is required, I think after 10 years of experience. After 10 years of experience, start thinking of your master degrees because this will reinforce your resume in the managerial level. When you are a planning manager, planning director, and so on, and you have a master degree, it will be very good. But please do a master degree in project management because I see some engineers are doing master degree in civil engineering, but you are working as a planning. Why you are doing it in civil? So do it in the planning, do the master degree. In my opinion, after 10 years, it will be okay. It is fine to have it after 10 years. Before this one, maybe you can concentrate on some professional certificates like PMP, PSP, these certificates which is telling that you can do schedules in a proper way and so on. Mr. Saber, we need your opinion about BIM. Please, can you advise us? Thank you a lot. Okay, I replied this question before. I think BIM is still not yet 100% okay for planning. BIM is great for architectural, structural MAP drawings and doing the coordination, finding the clashes, doing the 3D and doing the building in model in BIM, and then you find too many clashes and it will accelerate the coordination drawings between trades. This is definitely 100% required. But when it comes to the planning, for example, if you put the columns 50% columns, okay, how the PIM will perform? Okay, it will perform 50% of the columns as a portion, like we did it in zone A, then zone B, or it will put half of the height of the column, something like this. It's still not yet in the BIM is still not yet well coordinated with the planning. I'm thinking maybe after a few versions they might have something useful, but for me so far nothing interesting in BIM in planning. I told you the BIM in other trades, perfect. I have here there are multiple critical paths in the program, while the longest path usually is one or two longest path in the program. Okay, the longest path, it is one path. It is one path only. We have critical, we have near critical, okay. Then we have the longest path. Okay, it has too many activities, but still it is an overall called path. Okay, can you explain for us differences between progress tracking based on unit, on unit, one time, or cost loaded one time? Okay, based on unit. Unit, in my opinion, the cost loading based on cost, this is known that you assign a cost for each activity and then you have a progress percentage. You have multiply this progress percentage by the budget cost. Then you have the earned value. You divide this earned value for the whole project on the project total cost. Then you get the total completion date. When it comes to the units, the only way I'm thinking to do it is to have working hours. We can put working hours for each activity, okay, instead of the cost. And if you calculated your working hours accurately, the progress percentage based on the working hours will be much more accurate than the cost. Let me give you one example here. If you have, for example, one chiller, okay, this costs 3 million. This is almost 20% of your project budget. You just bring it and you put it, you get 20% of the project. While in the painting, you will be doing a lot of work. You have putty, you have primer, first coat, second coat, third coat, and this will be maybe less than 1%. So the level of effort in the painting much more than the level of efforts in the chillers. However, the cost of the chiller much more than the painting. So it is good idea to have a good distribution of your weight, whatever it is a cost or it is units, but always compare apple to apple. What I mean by apple to apple, don't put, for example, quantities where you have square meter and cubic meter and linear meter all together, and you'll say, okay, I'll use this unit. No, this is not correct at all. Okay, so you need to have one unique, or not unique, uniform distributed reference, which is cost or man hours. Mr. Noor, how you become advanced in Excel? Okay, thank you for telling that I'm advanced in Excel. Okay, the correct answer is, or the direct answer, try and error. I am searching or trying to do something in Excel. Okay, so I do it by one way. Then I find this way I did in Excel, it taking too much time. Then I start digging how to reduce my efforts and reduce the time required to accomplish this job. So I start thinking, okay, what if I used this formula instead of this formula? What if I use Power Query instead of pivot tables? What if, try and error until I find better solution. During this journey of finding better solution for something, I'm learning. I'm learning new formulas, I'm learning new concepts, I'm learning new things. This will help me in my next challenge when I'm trying to do a report. Then, okay, I'll start from the point I ended up last time, and I'll be continuing like this. So in short, practice. Try to solve your problems, try to find smart solutions, okay? And try to automate your Excel. This will give you the chance how to learn things better. Okay. We have here one question there, how to track project with actual quantity in MS project. To be honest, Mr. Rohan, I'm not big fan of MS project, but you can put some column for the actual quantity. What's the problem? You can put the column of the actual quantity. The question would be for you, from me to you, why you are using MS project? Why you are not using Primavera? What is different, or what is the benefit of using Microsoft project? Maybe you have something I don't know about it. Tell me your thoughts. If there is multiple longest path, what is the method of showing in each path separately? I'm still not convinced what is you meaning by multiple longest path. We have only one longest path. You mean, the path doesn't necessarily mean that all the activities should be linked together. The path is a set of activities are linked together. Go to Primavera, there is one filter called longest path. Try it. Try it. It will give you one path only. I'm not sure how many paths we have. We have only one. Okay, I'm Nazir, Junior Planning Engineer. I'm currently available in UAE on visit visa now. So what procedure I have to follow to grab the opportunity? Can you tell me, please? Or if you have someone who is attending with us. Okay, Mr. Nazir. To be honest, UAE nowadays doesn't have too many projects. But what is my advice to you is to uh, find the projects are going on now in UAE, whether you are in Sharjah and Dubai or whatever, or in Abu Dhabi. Go to these companies since you are a junior planning engineer and drop your resume. Tell them I'm a junior planning engineer. If you have an opportunity, please, here is my resume. Why I'm telling you this? Because in the junior level, usually they hire from the site or hire from the available local people. Yeah. The other option is I have some jobs in my website. I'm collecting from different sources. I make it ready for your submission. Go and check the jobs section in the planningengineer.net website. Mr. Ahmed Rabi, how can I register your paid course? Any details? It is very simple. go to planningengineer.net. Okay, go to the courses, find the course you would like to enroll, click add to cart. You can pay with your credit or debit card. You can pay with your direct bank transfer and proceed the payment. It will be automatically added to your account on the website. If you are asking about the other option, if you cannot afford to pay the full amount, you can send me an email, info@planningengineer.net, 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 telling me, okay, Hani, I need this course. I cannot pay the full amount. I can pay this amount, or I cannot pay anything at all. And by the way, I cannot understand why someone cannot pay something at all unless really he or she has a very serious situation, which is acceptable for me. It's okay. We all pass hard times, but it's okay. But only my concern is that the learning, if it is not your first priority, this will concern me a little bit. If you have, for example, iPhone, and you're telling, I don't have money to pay. You have money to pay for your iPhone. I'm not talking about my courses. Forget about it. I'm talking about the concept of investment. Which one is investment? Go to talk any course from any source. I'm not talking about my courses again. Which is an investment? To learn something new, or to buy a phone, or to buy a Samsung phone? Definitely, the learning will pay for itself, but the phone will consume your money. It's up to you. But this is the steps how to proceed further. BMI, SB, or AAC, PSP. In my opinion, PSP is much more professional and much more difficult. SP, BMI, SB, it is easier. So it's up to you. And my opinion, if you are taking my opinion, take both. Why not? If you are a good one, take both. This kind of certificates, in addition to the other practical courses, will reinforce and will make your resume good. We are sitting in a position where we cannot find too many jobs, but we are not moving. We are not doing anything. So you have 10, 20, 30 people are competing or are challenging each others to take one job. So what will make the company select you over the others? Your skills, your certificates. So whenever you have an opportunity to enhance yourself, do it immediately. Don't think. Mr. Mohsen, hi. When there is concurrent delay, what we should do? Can we say that we should calculate them as client delay? No, it is called concurrent delay, and you are entitled for an extension of time only without cost. As simple as this. Some clients, as I said before, they say, no, it is a concurrent delays, you cannot take time. No, this is not correct. Concurrent delay means there are delays from the client and there are delays from the contractor. In that case, the contractor is entitled for an extension of time. Mr. Muhammad Asif, what is the difference between recovery schedule and revised schedule? Recovery schedule will maintain the project completion date. Revised schedule, not necessarily. We are extending the project completion date. Usually, the recovery schedule is because of contractor delays. So he's recovering the delays, recovering from each name. I'm recovering. While the revised, it is as a result of the consultant or the client delays. So this is the main issue. Mr. Muammar, I am a quantity surveyor by profession, but I want really to be planning engineer. And what can you advise me? When you started learning Primavera P6, how can I enter into planning career? I started as a QS also, and this is a good start, by the way. QS is having some feelings with the numbers. And this is a required skill in the planning, to have some gut feelings of the numbers when you say, oh, this is 20%. No, it shouldn't be 20%. This gut feeling, this common sense. So being a quantity surveyor is perfect start as a planning engineer. What you need to do, you said you are starting Primavera P6, but you here mentioned Primavera. Okay, let me give it to you in a language you will understand. If someone asked you, okay, I want to be a quantity surveyor, and I started learning Excel, what you will tell? Okay, Excel is a good tool, but the quantity surveying itself, it needs some experience and the skills. Like, it is not enough to learn Excel to be a good quantity surveyor. Same as planning. It is not enough to learn Primavera in order to be a good planning. So you need to be also able to learn some planning techniques, planning tips, and so on. So what is my advice to you? Take a complete course for planning with Primavera, not only Primavera. And as you are now working as a QS, start from your company. Start giving them some schedules, telling them, okay, I make this quantity surveying for the, for example, the floor tiles, and here is a recommended schedule. What do you think? They will tell you, okay, Mr. Muammar, this is good or bad schedule. What if we can do this one? What if you can change this one? Then start doing some planning tasks in your current company. And as I said earlier in this video, you will have one of two scenarios. The first scenario is you will be promoted or working as a planning engineer, or you can later on, when you submit for a planning engineer position, say that I was doing some planning tasks. Okay, how to get WBS activity extract for multiple packages? Like, there are 10 packages, and if I want to get only engineering WBS and it is activities, how to get the same in Primavera and its activities? You can copy the WBS with its activity inside the Primavera from the WBS itself. If you go to projects WBS, then you will find that your WBS and how many activities. You can right click, copy the WBS from the WBS tab, and paste it whenever you want. You can open 2, 3, 4 projects, different projects. By the way, it is working. You can copy the whole WBS along with its activities from one project and paste it into another WBS or into another project. It doesn't matter. If you still not 100% sure how to do it, send me an email, info@planningengineer.net. I will give you some screenshots how to do it. What is the easy method of PMP to apply project sites? There is no easy method. I assume that you are asking for how to be certified PMP or how to apply PMP on site. These two different questions. If you are asking about how to be a PMP certified, you simply need to take a good course from a good source of PMP, study, and apply for the exam. Maybe you will fail one time, 2 times, doesn't matter. Start doing. How to implement what you learned in the PMP in the construction side. The PMP people themselves, they are telling not all the processes are required to be done in a single project. So start with something you are already doing and enhance it as a PMP standard. Then you go to the second thing and try to do it as PMP standards. And then you find another thing and do it as PMP standard. If you are trying to do all the PMP standards in one project, I promise you that you will fail, especially if you are not following the PMP from the beginning. It is very difficult, but you can do some of them. What good steps to prepare revised program schedule? Okay, the revised program schedule is done because of some it changes to the original plan. Okay, so in my opinion, I am doing this personally. I'm taking the original plan, okay, and I put the whatever it changes to it, okay, and I'll try to make it as accurate as I can to what the current situation. Then before releasing the recovery program or the revised sorry program, I make update and then see this update, is it logic? Now I'm getting what I'm expecting to get. If it is logic, then okay, my revised schedule 100%, no issues at all. If it is not logic, I go back to my baseline, do the modifications, try to make some fine tunings, and then update it again until I am very happy with the update. It is looking real, it is looking logic, then I release this version. If the schedule has two CCD, what do you mean by CCD? You can generate two longest paths. I'm not sure what you mean by CCD, but if you can elaborate. What are the new software and tools planner need to learn for next decade? I think you know that Primavera since how many years? It is since maybe 14, 15 years. There is no big change in Primavera. But what is changing now is the reporting, because scheduling Primavera is doing it perfectly, and I'm not expecting uh, something different. Maybe some AI, artificial intelligence, or something maybe in there. But what is changing is the reporting, the data processing. Like the Excel now, we have very nice features in the Excel, like Power Query and so on. The Power BI also is very powerful, interactive reports where you can send some reports to your clients and your managers with interactive links. These two areas, I believe they are now doing great. I'm QS in civil engineering rules and building for 4 years. I'm planning to move in planning career. What is your advice? Okay, move. Move if you'd like to be a planning engineer. If you feeling more comfortable to work as a planning engineer, move it immediately. What is the best way to present relationships between concrete form and fixing steel, considering fixing steel may start 2 days after the start of form work, and the form work should end after the fixing of steel? Okay. In this school, where you divide the activities into form work and steel work, okay, in my opinion, I don't segregate form work and steel work and pouring concrete. But if you would like to do so, then make it like this: form work first side, okay, then steel work, then form work second side or closure, then pouring concrete. Maybe you will put curing, but you'll have too many activities. Take care, and this will impact your cost loading, resource loading, update later on. So okay, Mr. Ahmed Diab, what is the best way to get actual link with plan? By mean, I wanted to know how can I get this KPR for my team? Okay. KPI is something for eye catching and getting your team involved of what you are doing. Okay, so I usually segregate the KPIs into one overall view. Okay, this is the main page. I mean, like, okay, plan percentage, actual percentage, all as one chart. Then I make it separate charts, like shop drawings, separate chart, procurement, separate chart, construction, separate chart. Okay, this is the main page. Then I have a details for each page, like what is the fall area, what is the head area, and so on. So I recommend to start with something like this. Engineer Erdi, I register your courses. Can I enter the course contents for limited time or lifelong? Okay, it is no limited. You, whenever you enroll for a course, you have unlimited, unless I die. Please forgive me if I'm dead, but the website should be working even. But I mean, I don't have putting some restrictions. You will have access to the course lifetime. Front loading and back loading. Why you need to do any of them? I don't recommend to do front loading or back loading. If you are doing balanced loading, it should be fine. But front loading, it means that you put more courses at the beginning, and the contractor was doing it during the pricing, by the way. They were putting, let's say, a very high prices for the concrete work and very less prices for the finishes. In that case, why they are doing it? They are doing it to get more money, more cash flow at the beginning to finance the project. But nowadays, when the client finds that a contractor is doing something like this, they may ban the contractor from the bidding. So the backloading, I don't see why someone could do something like this, but they are putting more cost at the end of the project. Okay. What is the differences between retain logic and override logic? Retain logic, if you have finished to start relationship, for example, okay, and you second activity started, then it will retain the relationships between the activities. It will not bypass it. But progress override, it will bypass the activity if the activity starts. And the best, let me tell you one secret. The best answer of your question is to do a dummy 4, 5, 6 activities on Primavera and do the retain logic and see what is the result. Then do the progress override and see what is the result by yourself. Okay, but this is the answer. I hope it is clear. Okay, assalamu alaikum, dear. Can you please tell how can I load resources from my BOQ to Primavera? First of all, you need to create the resource in Primavera, resource name. Okay. Once you created the resource name in Primavera, you can import it with Excel. But the idea here, do you have a good Excel sheet? Okay, the Excel calculation that you will know each resource for each activity, how much. If you have this, something like this, then you can do it from Excel, no problem at all. Just the steps are: 1, do or add the resource on Primavera, okay? Then export the resources from Primavera to be empty or put one dummy one, okay? Then start filling this sheet with the other resources with the quantity and the relevant activity name and import it to Primavera again. If you cannot do it, send me also one email. I'll send you some screenshots. I have project with more than 5,000 activities. Why 5,000 activities? It will be very heavy. You need a server to run it. You need actually a very heavy computer to run it. But maybe this is a client requirement. I'm trying not to exceed 2,000 activities. It is not logic, to be honest. Okay. Sir, please tell me how about how can I check my all link that I done in planned are right? There is nothing can be done like this. Uh, to be honest, it is difficult, very difficult. But I'll show you one thing. Let me show you one thing here. I am doing recently because I would like to know what I did in the relationships part. Okay, so I'm going to share this screen now. I was thinking how to do it. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, this is my module I'm using now in my course, the intermediate planning course, where I have high-rise building. Okay, I put the predecessor, successor, relationship type, and lag. Let me explain to you how. Let's see that I have this one like this. Okay, I have it like this. Okay, then I have here some Power Query. It will create for me all the activities for all floors for these relevant activities. To answer your questions that how I know that I did my relationships correct, I already have all my relationships here. The one I created or I'm using in my schedule. I have all of them here. Okay, it's about 245 master relationship. What I'm doing, this is master activity ID. It will be repeated for all floors. Like if I would like to link masonry to plaster, this is masonry plaster for all floors. The query will go to find where is the block for the first floor, what's the activity name for it. It will give it to me, for example, this one. What is the masonry for or the plaster for the first floor, to give it to here. What is the relationship, it will put, and it will repeat. If you can see here, we have here 16 relationship master, we can say master relationship. It ended up with me here 332 relationships. This is the thing I can weigh. This is how can I think to verify your relationships. The second way to verify relationships from the log, for example, you can check whether you have open ends, whether you have out of sequence activities, like this. Can I make same like cost loading in your video of cost loading? Can I load all resources using VLOOKUP? Definitely, yes. You should be doing it like this. If you are not doing it like this, you are missing a lot. You should doing by Excel, especially we mentioned you have 5,000 activities. Are you going to load them one by one? No, no. Mr. What are the use of level of efforts and WBS summary activity type? Okay, level of effort, if you have activity, you are not sure when it should start and when it should finish, because it is totally depending on another activity. So we do it level of effort, something like, especially the general requirement. This is something paid monthly for the projects. We are paying, let's say, or are getting a percentage based on the progress. So we are doing it level of effort or WBS summary. In that case, if you have would like to summarize whatever under this WBS was one activity, this is the same idea also. Okay, from where we can able to learn shortcuts. Shortcuts for what? Please let me know shortcuts for what? CCD contract completion date. Why you should have two contract completion dates? Yes, in that case, I'd agree with you. If you have two contract completion dates, you will have two critical paths, two longest paths, because it is two different projects. But why we should? What is the scenario we can have two contract completion dates? Schedule first before become a planning or planner. Yeah, scheduler. Scheduler is someone is doing repetitive task based on some direction, but some engineers they stuck in this area as a scheduler and they don't move forward. They are very happy. No one is asking them what they are doing, and they just need to be a scheduler for their rest of life. So, in my opinion, you should promote yourself after a while. Now, start thinking what you are doing this, why we are doing it, can we do it better, like this. I want to thank you because your YouTube videos helped me a lot. You are most welcome. I'm very happy to produce for you guys any useful contents. This is my pleasure. Okay, what is the use of percentage complete type? There are three methods: duration, physical units. Okay, the default thing is duration percentage complete. And when you make update for duration percentage complete like 50%, then the Primavera will do the following. It will give you 50% of the cost, 50% of the time. When it comes to physical percentage complete, when you change the activity type to physical, when you update the physical, it will be update the cost only without the time. You need to update also the duration percentage complete. So this is what it will do. The units percentage complete, if you have budgeted units, the actual units will be earned, will be calculated according to the actual units. So if you are monitoring, for example, um, let's say a heavy equipment you have, and you need to know what you earned versus what you should planned. You make it unit percentage complete. But the most famous things, duration and physical. I'm very rarely used units percentage complete. Okay. What is the use of sequence? What is the use of out of sequence activity and how to set the same? Out of sequence activity will come from updated schedule when you have started some activities regardless of their relationships. So mainly you need to fix the relationships to solve the out of sequence activity. However, out of sequence activity is not a big deal unless you have a reason to solve it, why you are solving it. Out of sequence, okay, out of sequence. I didn't do the activity as per the planned sequence of work. But if you have, if I'm a consultant and my contractor having a lot of out of sequence activity, I will ask for a revised schedule. You are not following your plan. It means your schedule is not correct. So submit a new baseline. But mainly, it will be solved by modifying the relationships. What is the better option as per your experience for scheduling the progressed activity in retain logic versus project or progress override? If I'm very confident from my relationships that I'm happy with my relationship, I will keep retain logic. But if I'm not confident about my relationships that okay, we might be deviating a little bit from what we planned, then I prefer progress override. By the way, some consultant and the client they refuse to use progress override and said they retain logic. Type, Mr. Client, the logic no more applicable. Send a revised schedule or a recovery schedule. So, and they have the right to do, as I told you, because retain logic, or sorry, progress override will cause out of sequence activities. Mr. Ahmed, please let me know the location of your center. I'm planning to come to discuss with you. Please note I live in Suez, Egypt. I'm in Zahra Al Maadi, Egypt, Cairo, Egypt. Send me on WhatsApp or an email. I send you the location. You are welcome. Tilos, what is your opinion? I have very little information about Tilos, but I know it is mainly made for the horizontal projects like pipelines, roads, and so on, because they are doing, it is designed for the horizontal project. To be honest, I don't have very much experience with it. However, it is in my to-do list to learn it. I'm going to learn it soon. If I have found it useful for something else rather than pipelines and roads, I'll let you know. Uh, Mr. Muhammad, if the free float consumed of activities, would that activity be critical? Yes. 100% correct. If you consume, we are not calling it consume, by the way, when it comes to total float, we are calling it burning the float. And this will give us another question. Who owns the float? The consultant, client, or the contractor? And the common rule, unless it is clearly written in the contract, whoever use it first own it. Like if you have one activity with a float, and the contractor is delayed and burns the float. Later on, the consultant came and with some delays for the same activity, the contractor is entitled for extension of time because the contractor burned the float before. And the other way around. If you have an activity with a float and then the consultant delayed you, okay, within this float, you burned all the float. Later on, you delayed in this activity, you will get a delay penalty because the consultant used this float before you. That's why it is important, especially in the big project, it is important to look at your float accurately and with a good review. Can we convert a global activity code to project activity code? I don't think so. You can use it with some Excel tips and tricks, or even with some playing around with XAR. But I never think about it if we can copy and paste it from Primavera. I never tried it, by the way. You know this? I will try it, and if I found a way, I will let you know. Send me an email also if you would like to follow up with me. How to check a schedule after preparation? Checking a schedule, when I checking a schedule for a schedule I did, or a schedule that some of my colleagues did, and I'm reviewing it as a manager, or I'm checking my freelance job because I'm doing a lot of project freelance. I'm checking it before sending it to the client. So the first thing I'm saying, I'm checking that, and don't be surprised, okay? That the start date and the finish date of the project are as per the contract. Some planning engineers don't look at this point because they do some changes, modifications, blah 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 blah, and one activity moved, okay, and then the completion date is not as per the contract. So the first thing, start date, finish date as per the contract. Second thing, I don't have any activity without predecessor or any activity without successor except two activities, first and last activity. This is the second thing. Then I start seeing the relationships between the activities, each others. What is the relationship between the masonry and the beams or slab above? What is the relationship between the plaster and the panel boards? What is the relationship? I make filters inside the Primavera file. What is the relationships between the ceiling, okay, and the floors? What's the relationship between the false ceiling and the MEP above false ceiling? These type of things I'm checking before I'm sending, and then I'll take overall view at checking the total float for each activity. If I'm happy with it, then خلاص. Okay, what is your preferred duration percentage complete? I use duration because it is one update. I updated one time, and I believe that the cost should be reflected to the duration, unless it is some good reason why we are not doing it. Again, same question here. What percentage type should we select? Unit percentage complete or physical in case of resource loading? I think we should select unit. No. Resource loading, I'm using with the resource loading duration percentage complete. What's the problem? Duration percentage complete will give me the percentage for the cost, the percentage for the duration, percentage for the units, everything. Unless you would like to differentiate the cost from the time, okay, use physical. unless you would like to differentiate the units percentage from the cost from the time, use the units percentage complete. But if your percentage complete are the same, okay, you are using 50%, it means 50% for everything. Why will change? No need. US federal not allowing the override. Yes, I told you that some consultant they don't allow progress override. They need retain logic, and they have the choice. They have the right to do this. And I told you, yes, they are correct. What is the use of activity code? Activity code is something helping the WBS. Like, okay, if you would like to filter, okay, if you have activity code, for example, for MEP works, one activity code for civil works. If you would like to filter the MEP works, how you do it with the WBS? You cannot do it, but you can do it with the activity code. Think about activity codes at like additional columns, very, very useful in the filters. And you can use it also to organize your project. So although I'm working with WBS, I'm doing WBS for all my projects, but I'm also doing some activity codes because it's very useful for the filtering. If you have, for example, one subcontractor and you need to filter these subcontractor activities, how will you do it? With activity codes. Okay, I think we exceeded 1 hour already. I hope you found this live useful for you. I will be doing more live, inshallah. Then until then, please be sure you are following our social media network. So next time when we plan for a live, you will catch us. Thank you very much. See you in the next one.